Searing flesh from bone.
Hello guys, today I want to introduce my Condi Sw Dagger Weaver build. It is by no means the new meta, it is nowhere near Staff Weaver, but it is a fun Weaver build and it is totally viable, let me stress viable, not new meta, but it is viable in fractals and raids and open world, and it does not rely on any conjures. So if you love the Sword Dagger Weaver and you want to try something different, then you could try this out. So basically your rotation is just going through fire, fire, earth, earth, using all of your condition abilities. And then you add one air attunement when you cast the churning earth, earth 5. And then other than that you want to cast Fire Signet. The split second comes off cooldown, since it's by very far your biggest source of damage. Your Q provides the most damage when it's cast in earth. Or actually double earth, and the glyph is supposed best used in fire. However, I'm considering Glyph of Storms instead, might be actually better, but I've been using Glyph of Elemental Power for so long that it just feels clunky to me, and like I said, it's a fun build. It's not supposed to be the be-all end-all, so yeah, this is what I run. And then finally, love it or hate it, you have to get used to micromanaging the Weave Self. So Weave Self, as you can see, I doubt many people know how it works, because I see people activating Weave Self and then you go spamming through your attunements. But to get the most out of it, you would prefer to save one of the attunements for the very last second. So when you start Weave Self, you get these buffs every time you enter an attunement. And then once you enter all 4, you basically enter the perfect weave, but it only lasts for 10 seconds. Now that is 10 seconds from the moment you enter the 4th element. So basically you want to save the 4th one until the normal Weave Self is just about to end. So what I usually do is I save either air or water. I mean, in a raid scenario you have a lot of boons, like the boon duration or the movement speed, it's basically up to you. But yeah, the earth, you really want the earth, the increased toughness, which will also give you condition damage with your traits, we'll go through later. And of course, obviously fire is your priority number 1, 20% condition damage. So if you do a perfect weave, you have 30 seconds of the 20% condition damage and the 320 toughness. So I haven't perfected my rotation during the Weave Self, and my gear isn't optimized. I'm missing almost all of the +5 infusions. And but maybe there's someone out there who is interested and want to expand on the rotation and you know, optimize the gear and figure out the optimal rotation. Now a couple of pointers on the traits. I believe I am the only elementalist in the world that does not use Pyromancer's training, instead use the condition damage. And my argument for that is that it doesn't benefit my rotation, because if I use Cauterizing Strike and I go into Earth, and I go into Earth again, I use my full rotation, I use all my abilities, and I go into fire again, and in again. It is just coming off cooldown. So since this doesn't benefit Cauterizing Strike, and it also doesn't really benefit Flame Uprising, it's nothing I really need. And the Ring of Fire, the same goes for the Ring of Fire, of course. And so when you enter fire, let's say I'm in double Earth and you enter fire, the first thing you want to do is Flame Uprising right away. And that is also a timer for your Weaver's prowess. Since it lasts for 8 seconds, the first thing you do when you enter fire, you use this one, you go into fire again, you use your abilities, and then this will be coming off cooldown. So right before you enter Earth, you drop Flame Uprising again, you're gonna spend 8 seconds in here, and when you go to fire again, it will come off cooldown. So you don't really need the cooldown reduction. It doesn't help you with this rotation. Everything is off cooldown right when it needs to anyway. So yeah, power overwhelming is what I run. Another thing is superior elements. Yes, this is a damage increase, but I don't run it. Why? I just like the extra health, really, and like the power damage, as you will see in my attempt at the benchmark, is just not very good. So yeah, DPS increase, survivability, it's been a skill, whatever. So some pros and cons about the build. Pros: it is very fun. I love it, especially in fractals, and like when you don't try to, you can really have fun with this build if you're not trying to be top on the DPS, especially like you go ride the lightning into a group of mobs, use updraft, go back in with jump, flame uprising, pyro vortex, all the group is just knocked down. Then you either go into fire and drop some more damage. However, they are gonna get up at that point and start hitting you, so that you might fuck yourself. What you can do is go into Earth instead and dodge all of their first attack. Use your Ring of Fire, Lava Skin, some shields, and then you can go Earth again, stun all of them again, so they hit like nothing. And yeah, like it's nice. It's not too bad. Other pros: it actually has a lot more burst than most Condis, thanks to the weave self in the intro. Like I might be able to put in a picture here. So here's an example of our opener on Matthias, with me being the red, Mirages and Scourges. Again, obviously it has nowhere near the burst of a Staff Weaver, but you know, in the Condi classes, it has a better burst than most Condis. It has great CC, a lot better than other Weavers, especially if you happen to be in Earth when you need to go CC. What you do is you open the air and suddenly have 3 very strong CC abilities, and if these 3 aren't enough when you're ready to leave, so what is it, 3 seconds. So when you're ready to leave, you go into whatever you want to go, really, but I assume fire, and you have updraft as well, which is a lot of CC. A lot. Like, this breaks bars like nothing else. What else? You have a lot of mobility. Ride the lightning. If you're in a tight spot, you can just swirl away. And kind of minor DPS loss is like if you're doing fractals and you're struggling, like you get hit by stuff, or you're new to the fractals, maybe your healer isn't helping you. Of course, it's the healer's fault. You can use, for example, Twist of Fate. Love this ability. Whenever you're struggling, pick this up. It's just the best thing ever. And finally, cons. Micromanaging Weave Self. Again, love it or hate it. It's so much extra damage. It's so good, but it is easy to mess up, and when you're really trying to push it and get those last seconds in, and if you don't have your attunements ready when you need to swap and you miss by split second and you lose the 10 bonus seconds from the perfect weave, oh, it is rough. But yeah, then again, it's very rewarding once you figure it out and you start pulling them off all the time. It's you know, love it or hate it. Another thing, con, is that obviously it's not meta, which means you will never ever get an invite to a raid. What I do if I do want to run this in a raid, which I usually don't actually, I do play Staff Weaver because, you know, it's better, but sometimes I do if I want to have fun. You basically just join and you don't tell anyone that it's a staff, that it's a sword dagger. But you know, always have your power set and staff ready when you need to pull the big deeps. So let's go through the traits and gear. I use full Vipers on everything. I would bring, I've got 3 right now, the +5 expertise. I believe you have 4 to fully cap it. When I go into fire here, and I have the increased duration on bleeding and burning, plus my food. There you go. 99.86, it's almost. Probably want one more +5 expertise. And I would take the rest as +5 Condi damage, obviously. On the weapons, I use Sigil of Malice and the Geomancy. The Sigil of Bursting I tried, but yeah, this actually does put out a bit more DPS, surprisingly to me. But yeah. And then looking at the traits, got Fire, Earth, Weaver. Increased power, who cares? Burning Precision, this is obviously you need this. Duration increase for burning, and more fire burning on crits. Very nice, love everything about this. Fire aura, you do get actually quite a lot of fire auras with the Flame Uprising. And this one we already talked about, increased condition damage, more damage to burning foes. Still, this is power damage, but whatever. And then obviously Lava Font for the increased burning fields. In Earth we got increased toughness, which is dangerous in a raid setting. So I guess we'll touch on this now. You will have a lot of toughness, especially when you're in your Weave Self. If we go in and we enter Earth, and we have everything, then you have 1590 toughness, which is not always great, especially if you have like a toughness based raid boss. So in those scenarios, either you can't run it, or you have to tank, but you don't want to tank. So either you make sure that the tank is wearing full Minstrel, or at least has more toughness than your maximum. But yeah, it's something to keep in mind. Be wary of that. And then we pick increased bleeding duration. Bleeding is a huge portion of our damage from all the Earth abilities. And the Sigil of Geomancy. The extra damage is nice, but yeah, minor. Earthen Blast, yeah, it's a little bit. Then we have Strength of Stone, increased condition damage based on percentage of your toughness. Unfortunately, it does not stack with the toughness you gain from Weave Self or entering Earth with this, which is sad, but you know, still you do get some condition damage out of it, and the other are not really damage oriented. That is nice. Reduce damage from foes when nearby, which you will always be since you're melee. So yeah, increase survivability for free. Thank you very much. Reduced sigil recharge, and also they are active all the time. active all the time is, you know, you get some extra precision, but holy crap, this damage, like I said before, 17,000 burning damage is just, it's huge, and the reduced cooldown is, yeah, this is so important. Weaver, like I said, increased damage, but I prefer the extra health. This is really, really minuscule. And barrier when dual attack, so more survivability, it's fine. This one, you always want to try to keep this up, and the 8-second duration fits perfectly with our double attuning all the time. Increased condition damage duration, it's perfect. Love everything about it. This minor is unfortunately not too beneficial for us, since the toughness doesn't increase your the toughness you gain from this one doesn't increase your condition damage through the strength of stone, unfortunately, but either way it doesn't hurt. And finally here we don't really have any good alternative here, but you know, 10% extra damage, that's fine. And some ferocity, why not? So yeah, without further ado, here's my attempt at the benchmark.
Your seams are showing. I can move mountains. A new pattern revealed. A new pattern revealed. I recommend you run. A new pattern revealed. Your seams.
So that's the video. Thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun making it. I hope it inspired some of you to try it out, and maybe even some better players out there want to try and maximize the build and rotation to find its true full potential. It would be really interesting to see. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me in-game. I'll leave my name in the screen here. Again, thanks for watching, and remember to have fun out there.